Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing this DIY for you on how I created these beautiful, really rustic, industrial looking pipe shelves that I put in my kitchen. This project was so easy and it was so fun to do. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's just get started. So here are the materials I used for the pipes. I got 3/4 inch diameter pipes as well as floor flanges and iron caps for the pipes. And I decided to go with the black pipes because that way I didn't have to paint them by hand or spray paint them or anything. They were already dark and I liked the darkness they were, but you could always paint them if you wanted a different color. Now I'm just starting off by removing these labels, and each of them had some plastic tape, and then I put the caps on one end and the flanges on the other end, and I made sure to kind of stand them up side by side as I was going, just to check and make sure that I had them sort of the caps and the bottom screwed on to where each of them was at an even height to each other, because I didn't want one to be screwed on a little firmer than the other one, and then the pipes were going to be all at differing lengths. So as you can see here, as I'm putting each together, I'm putting them side by side so I can make sure that they're all going to be the same height. Now you may or may not have to do this, but again, like I said, these had labels on them which did not come off very easily. So I'm just using some Goo Gone and a paper towel to scrub these labels off. And then I ended up wiping them down also with just a wet paper towel to get off any additional residue. For my boards, I'm starting off by sanding them with a coarse sanding block. I did get my boards pre-cut for me at Home Depot, which is a great service they have. I got 30-inch cuts on 1x10 pine boards. So I'm just going around and removing any of the rough edges because, in case someone were to bump into one of these shelves, I don't want them to be too rough. And then I switched over to a medium grit sanding block just to further kind of get any more residue off and to kind of make the sanding a little finer. Here I am now just wiping off any dust so that I can move on to the stain. For this, I'm using the Minwax wood finish in the shade Dark Walnut. It is one of my favorite stain colors. I've used this on multiple different things in my home, and it's just my favorite. So I'm just using a foam brush to apply a nice even coat of this. I apply a coat, and as you can see, I will then go down the length of the board just to make sure the coat is really even and there's no excess stain. You don't want to put too much stain because then you'll get some drip marks, which are not fun. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that to both boards, making sure to get in all the knots and on all the sides of the board. So after letting that dry overnight, I'm now going in with the Minwax Polyurethane, and this is the clear satin. I chose the clear satin because I didn't want the shelves to be too shiny, so this gives just a little bit of shine. And I'm applying that again with a foam brush, and again doing a nice light layer to get an even coating of the sealer on top, and making sure again to get in all the little knots and around the edges. So that everything is really nice and sealed. Now you can, after this, it does recommend that you go in and sand the boards afterwards. But I'm not a professional. I'm not proclaiming to be. I just did it the way that looked nice and the way I've done it before. So for me, I just seal it one time and it works fine for me, but you can totally just kind of go by the directions if you're that kind of person who loves to kind of just follow the directions exactly. So now I let the boards dry again overnight, and we're starting the actual process of putting them together. So these are tube straps that are again in the 3/4 inch diameter sizing so that they'll fit these pipes. I measured my board and decided I wanted to go 6 inches in on each side of the board. That's where I wanted the pipes to lay. Now I will be totally transparent with you here. I am an artist. I'm a very technical person. I'm really good at eyeballing things and making things even. So you could totally measure a lot more than I did. I'm not a measuring type person because again, my eyesight's really good and I can generally eyeball things. So I basically centered the pipe on the 6 inch mark. I put the tube straps where I wanted them. Again, I eyeballed them. You could totally measure if you'd like to. And then I just used 3/4 inch wood screws to screw the tube straps onto the wood to hold the metal pipes in place. So here I am taking the next pipe and just using the first pipe as our general guide to where I want the tube straps to go. As you can see, I'm just sort of lining them up and then placing it down so that the straps are pretty much evenly across both of the pipes. And then again, just eyeball the other side to place this pipe on, put it at that 6 inch mark that I made a note of, and then screwed in again with the 3/4 inch wood screws. Also, as you can see this whole time, I did have a small box underneath just to lift up the boards off the floor. It makes it a lot easier to, do your work and kind of get everything screwed in. If you're not working just on the floor, you need to be raised up a little bit. So here is our first finished shelf and it looks so cute. It's exactly what I was looking for. So now we're gonna go into the other side. So as you can see here, I'm taking the pipes and the straps for the other side of the shelves. And what I'm doing here is just holding them up to the shelf I already finished so that I can get, again, the straps evenly placed in the same kind of place that I put them on the first shelf. And here I'm doing my first measuring. So I'm just measuring the distance from the tube strap to the end of the board, which happened to be 1 inch exactly, which was perfect. So I'm gonna do that on this board just to make sure they're also 1 inch from the bottom. Okay guys, so we now have these shelves done and they look so cute. I love how the dark walnut looks so nice with that little kind of like light satin shine. I didn't want it to be too shiny, but I did want a little something. So we have all our hardware installed back there and they are both very level with each other, each shelf. So now I'm gonna go install them in the kitchen and then once they are up, I will show you what it looks like.